Okay, so let's get right into it. We're doing a deep dive today on the aftermath of Storm Claudia. And this was a huge event. It got so bad, they declared a major incident, which, is code for significant risk to life.
It really is, and that's the core of what we need to unpack here, because this wasn't just one single event. It was two very different crises hitting back to back.
Two crises.
Exactly. First, you have the massive widespread flooding across the UK and Ireland, the immediate emergency. And then almost instantly, you have this dramatic switch to a punishing Arctic cold snap.
A total weather whiplash. So our mission today is to really chart that, right? To look at where the worst of it hit, see how the infrastructure held up or didn't.
And then explore what happens when you have to deal with recovery from a flood while everything is starting to freeze solid.
Yeah.
It's a logistical nightmare. We're going beyond the headlines to see how the people on the ground actually cope.
All right, let's start at the very center of it all. The flooding. When we hear that term, major incident, what does that actually mean for the people living there? What's happening?
It means the system is completely overwhelmed. It means the situation is genuinely life-threatening. I mean, look at Wales. As of 6 a.m. on Saturday, Natural Resources Wales had 4 severe flood warnings out.
And severe is the top level, isn't it?
It's the highest you can get. It's not a maybe, it's a guarantee of, and this is the official phrasing, significant risk to life and significant disruption to the community. It's an operational trigger.
Which is exactly what we saw in South Wales, in Monmouth. The fire and rescue service there had to declare a major incident just for that area.
They did, and that came in the middle of the night because
Yes.
the flooding was described as severe and widespread. But the key thing to understand is the coordination that kicks in. It's way beyond what you'd normally see.
It sounds like they were calling in everybody they possibly could.
Oh, it was an all-hands-on-deck situation. You had the fire crews working with Gwent police, ambulances, of course. But here's the detail that tells you how bad it was. They brought in mountain rescue.
Mountain rescue. For a town flood.
And the Coast Guard. When you're mobilizing those kinds of specialized teams for an inland urban flood, you know the water isn't just rising, it's moving fast. It's a swift water rescue scenario.
Wow. That really paints a picture. I saw a quote from the area manager, Matt Jones, and he laid out just how difficult conditions were.
Absolutely. The main problems were, exactly what you'd fear. Fast-moving water, which we just mentioned, but also roads just completely block. And all the pressure on drains, on communications, it all just starts to fail.
And that's when they had to make that plea for the public to just stay away, to completely avoid the Monmouth area. That must cause its own kind of chaos.
It does, but it's about priorities. They have to keep the remaining routes clear for evacuations, for rescues. When they ask everyone else to stay out, it's because getting emergency vehicles in and out has become the single most important task.
Okay, so that's the acute crisis in Monmouth. But the storm was so much bigger than that. It was causing chaos all across the Isles, wasn't it?
Correct. That volume of rain had a huge knock-on effect. You saw it immediately in Ireland. Widespread power outages reported, leaving thousands of homes and businesses in the dark, especially on the East Coast.
And their weather warnings were scaled up pretty high, too. There was a status orange rain warning for Dublin, Wexford, and Wicklow. For anyone not familiar, how serious is orange?
So status yellow is basically a be aware level. Things might get tricky. But status orange, that's a whole different level. It's a direct warning that the weather poses a significant threat to life and property. You need to be prepared. It's serious.
And there were another 10 counties under a yellow warning, so it was just this massive, saturated system. And Northern Ireland got hit as well.
Yep. Armagh and Down had a yellow warning in place until noon on Saturday. So you still had that risk of hazardous travel, more localized flooding. It's this compounding effect that just starts to grind everything to a halt.
And speaking of that, the travel networks, they just seized up, didn't they? National Rail was putting out alerts everywhere, and the roadside assistance company said Friday was one of their busiest days ever.
And that's a really crucial point, because the entire network is now soaked, emergency crews are exhausted, infrastructure is weak, and this is the moment where the story takes that turn. What happens when a system that is already at its breaking point gets hit by something completely different?
Right. This is that meteorological whiplash you mentioned. We go from flood and rescue mode straight into an Arctic freeze. How does that switch happen so fast?
It's all about the wind direction. It's a very rapid shift. The Met Office meteorologist Honor Criswick explained that the winds are just flipping around to come from the north. And when you pull air straight down from the Arctic, you get a Well, a profound and immediate drop in temperature.
So we get a bit of a trade-off. Things will look a bit brighter, maybe some sunshine as the clouds clear, especially up in Scotland and Northern Ireland.
Yes, but that's the classic trap. A clear, crisp day in winter is often the coldest because there's no cloud blanket to hold in any warmth. Her exact words were that it will be turning much colder and people will really gonna notice a chill into Sunday.
And it's not just for a day, is it? This is sticking around.
No, this is expected to continue right into the following week.
Yeah.
And this is where the two crises really collide in a dangerous way.
Because the cold basically weaponizes the water that's left over from the flood.
That is the perfect way to put it. Think about it. All that standing water, the saturated ground, the flooded roads, now freeze it. Every puddle becomes a sheet of black ice. Those dangerous flood zones become even more treacherous ice rinks.
And I can't imagine that makes the cleanup any easier for the crews who are already exhausted.
It's a logistical nightmare. Trying to clear debris or check on damaged buildings in sub-zero temperatures is incredibly difficult. Plus, any water that's gotten into homes, into basements, now you have the risk of pipes freezing and bursting, the whole problem. It changes from a water hazard to a structural ice hazard.
And the authorities are already anticipating this, right? They're looking past the flood to what the cold is going to do.
That's right. And that's why the UK Health Security Agency, the UKHSA, they've already acted. They issued a formal cold weather warning for the Midlands and Northern England starting on Monday.
And that warning isn't short?
No, they're expecting disruption all the way until the following Saturday. So we're looking at nearly a full week of sustained, dangerous cold layered directly on top of a major flood recovery.
So to just kind of pull it all together,
Right.
we have the incredible coordinated emergency response in Monmouth, then the widespread logistical hit that stretched from Dublin all the way across to England.
And then this incredibly fast pivot from a saturation event to a deep freeze.
And the real challenge is how one community, one set of emergency services, can possibly manage two completely different high-stakes emergencies at the same time.
Exactly. The toolkit you need for a flood, pumps, boats, water rescue is totally different from what you need for a deep freeze, which is about shelter, heating, and dealing with ice. And they had to switch from one to the other with basically zero recovery time in between.
It makes you wonder then, what does it take to build a system that can pivot that fast? To go from swift water rescues on a Saturday to setting up warming shelters for a deep freeze on a Monday? That adaptability, that's got to be the real test here.